Welcome to Straight from the Source, and our guest today is Brandin Paya, the tribal chairman for the Paskenta Band of Nomlaki Indians. Welcome. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, no, thank you for the invitation. Really appreciate it.
So there are so many people who maybe they don't know a lot about the history of the Paskenta Band of Nomlaki Indians. Almost everybody knows about Rolling Hills Casino Resort, right? Because that has such mass commercial appeal. Can you tell me a little bit just about how long Rolling Hills Casino has been there and how big of a part of like the tribe's current day-to-day operations is it?
So the casino was, we were built in 2002.
Okay.
The land was purchased in 2000. And so from there, we were able to construct a casino.
Yeah.
So we did an opening in 2002, and we've been there ever since. And so the finances from that revenue that we have generated from gaming has given us all the opportunities we have to expand in different businesses and to help our people.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. So I'm from Southern California originally, where there are more venues, there are more restaurants, and then up here in rural Northern California. And I've really recognized that these tribal venues essentially bring so much to our area culturally in terms of musicians who are traveling through, the great concerts that people put on. What have been some of your favorite artists or events that you've been able to host there? I know the Obsidian Amphitheater is pretty new, right?
Yes. Oh, yes. It's very new. And like you said, it's true that we do bring a lot of different acts to the area. We also try to, just cater to the different the demographics that we have. We recently had, I think it was Megadeth. And so they're a rock band that we've been around for quite some time. And, people wouldn't think that in the area. We've also had some techno groups. I think it was David Okia, I think.
Yeah.
And then we've had Snoop Dogg and Ice Cube.
I remember the Snoop Dogg one. Yeah.
And we've also had, I forgot what the other gentleman's name, but
there was some.
there was Pepe Aguilar.
Okay, yeah.
Which we've catered to the demographic that we have here in Northern California. Very popular, very famous. So yeah, we try to just change. Just cater to the clientele that we have here.
Right. It's so funny because I have teenagers right now, and I've noticed that the music from my teenage years seems to be really big with the kids these days. Like you mentioned, Megadeth, right? Like these bands, and they're on tour again. It's pretty incredible. I mean, I would be too tired if I was a rock star in my 20s to be on tour now.
Definitely.
But they come in their big tour buses, huh?
Yeah.
Do they usually stay at the casino?
No, they do. They'll stay at the casino, and then we cater to them, things that they need. But you're right, the Megadeth, I thought maybe they'd lose a little bit of their what they have, their energy, but no, they did great. And I thought maybe it was auto-tuned, but it was not. I seen him up there singing and going hard as he could and playing, so I was really surprised. They brought a lot of energy. They did a really good job.
Yes. Okay. So, of course, the casino and the venue and all the restaurants. I mean, there's cool restaurants there too. That's one piece of what our community sees about this tribe, but there's so much that we don't see, right? Can you just tell me a little bit about the people and the history and what life is like that people maybe just don't know about?
I would say about the...
Well, just in terms of what it's like to live, I mean, in a very modern era, right? But while still kind of preserving the culture of the Paskenta Band of Nomlaki Indians. Young kids, do they still know about a lot of those cultural traditions?
Okay, I see. I have to give a big shout out to our culture committee, our Paskenta Band of Nomlaki Culture Committee. They're really helping out preserve our culture as well as our tribal council. We do youth events that help preserve our cultural connections. We have an elder youth event where we invite some of our elders and our youth so that way they can get together and get to know each other, tell stories and give good advice to one another about things that they've done, things that they should have done. So that is neat. We have a language revitalization that we host every Wednesday to make sure that our language is alive and thriving. Also, our economics and our culture go hand in hand. They're not really a competing goal, but they go hand in hand. So without our economics, we're not able to build our culture and keep that going. But with our culture, it's free. It's who we are.
Yeah.
And so it's just to be proud of that every day is just something amazing. I'm proud of who I am, and every member of our tribe is proud of who they are. So
What is the language called? The name of it? Do you speak
it's Nomlaki.
it? Nomlaki.
Yeah, Nomlaki language.
And you grew up, you learned it, you speak it?
It's tough because what happened was during the assimilation, when our tribes got, they got, what is that? In 1955, our tribes were no longer given federal status.
Oh, that's right. I'd
So,
heard about that.
Yeah, so there was that act. I couldn't name it off the top of my head.
It was like a federal decision
Yeah,
to basically
we're-
just say sorry.
all the state tribes were just no more. And so
Wow.
what happened is we lost our ways, and then assimilation also happened where, our elders were taken to boarding schools. They were punished for using their language. They were punished for using the regalia or
This
any
was
type
all in the
of thing.
50s?
Yeah, in the 50s and before that,
Yeah.
before the 50s, that has happened. So it's really tough for us to get our language back.
Yeah.
But what happened was some of the colleges went out and the scholars did studies and were able to meet with some of the tribal people. And so they would do simple words to them like hello, like boham, jackrabbit, pot kelly, just different words that they would use to just common words that they would do, and they would preserve the language.
Yeah.
And so lucky for us, we were able to meet with these scholars, and over time they would contact us and we contacted them, and they were able to let us know that they do have recordings that we have of our language. So that was like the base, the foundation of us starting our language.
Yeah.
And so we were able to do that. My grandfather actually got a copy of a language tape that we had, because back, there was 8 tracks and,
Right.
and tapes and now CDs and now it's all digital.
Yeah.
He was able to get a hold of some cassettes.
Okay.
And so my grandfather, he walked every morning and he would listen to those cassettes in the morning and repeat. And then in the evening he would walk as well.
Wow.
And I've never seen it before, but he burned out a cassette listening to it over
Yeah.
and over. So he had to burn another cassette. And I
Wow.
thought, wow, that's dedication.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And like you said, so students, they do get education about this, right? It's something that's encouraged, that we continue to pass on this language to the generations to come.
Yes, oh yes. We have a tribal council member. He's developing a language app.
Okay.
And like I said, we host language every Wednesday for members. We're doing a Zoom meetings for tribal members to be able to participate, whether they're in town locally or if they're further away in different states.
Okay.
But yeah, I think language is important for us. It was actually important for us for our re-recognition. That was one of the qualifiers, or for us to be considered a tribe. We had to speak our language.
Wow.
And if we didn't speak our language, then we're
So something
nothing.
was taken away, and then you have to prove yourself to get it back. It's
Yes.
very interesting, but you did it.
Yes, we did.
And then, so tell me about, besides just the language, can you tell me more about some of the other kind of unique cultural traditions? Like, is there a religion? What is that like?
I would say culturally, we have our dances that we have. We have different dances for different seasons. We have our songs that we have, different songs and ceremonies that we do partake in. A lot of that has been, it was taken away, but again, we were able to find songs that were in recordings that we have. And we also have our culture committee who is taking the steps to preserve the dances and the songs that we have today. They're able to create new songs and dances, and then also blend in a couple of the older songs that are traditional songs. And some songs are for different meanings. Some songs are for, when people pass. Some are for when people come of age. We have coming of age ceremonies. So different songs have different meanings, and they follow the seasons as well, like I said earlier.
Okay. What about what crafts or skills or trades? Do you know much about, like, the history of your people, and is there anything that people still practice today?
Yeah, we've been doing basket weaving, I
Okay.
think. We've been doing that, and we've also been skirt making. So we've been doing a skirt making demonstration that we had. We've also done, we're going to be actually hosting next year. It's called SEBA, which is the California Indian Basket Weavers Association. And so they'll be at our casino next year, where all the tribes in the state of California and any tribal people and non-tribal people will be able to participate and do a basket weaving demonstrations. So that'll be huge for us to keep our culture going and making sure that those arts and crafts are preserved today. I try to do a basket, and I have to give a lot of respect to the basket weavers by looking at some of the baskets that they have preserved from the 1800s and 1900s.
Yeah.
The intricate just weaving of the basket and the color and the technique, it would take hours and hours to master that.
Yeah.
And some of the basket work is just very intricate and specialized.
Yeah.
So,
Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. Some of the things that people make by hand is so incredible. So how many people right now live on the reservation land?
right now we don't have any.
Oh, really?
Because like I was talking about in the 1950s
Yeah.
when we were just, our federal status was
Yeah.
taken away, we were displaced.
Okay.
So our tribal people had to go and find work. And so once we were displaced, we just scattered throughout the state.
Yeah.
And some of our other families have actually gone to different states in Washington, Oregon, Nevada, and they have gotten homes there and grew up there. And so what we did was we're able to help with the money that we're generating. We're able to help members get housing. So now they can buy a house where they like, but still be connected to the tribe.
Yeah.
And so that's super important because you can still keep your family ties to your hometown, whether it's in here in Northern California, in a different state.
Right.
But also it gives them an opportunity to come home.
Yeah.
That money, if they want to come back home and they want to see that they have a house here in Northern California,
Yeah.
and they'd like to come home, that money is available to them to come back home.
Could that be an option down the road, though, to have like housing for members of the tribe within the tribe's own land? Like, is that something you're looking at?
Yeah, it is. We got to build our infrastructure first.
Yeah.
So we've built up our businesses right now, and so with that revenue, we can start to build nice, housing area.
Yeah.
We could, possibly start with elder housing because our elders are the ones that we need to take care of.
Yeah.
First and foremost. So
Yeah.
that way that they're taken care of, then it can go on to the next generation of, our middle-aged families. And then from there, our youth will be taken care of as well.
I like the way that you say elders, right? Because a lot of times I feel like in our culture, that when someone's of a certain age, we almost we call them seniors, right? And it's it's not an insult, but it doesn't carry the respect that maybe it should for someone who has tons and tons of life experience and wisdom to share, right?
Yes.
But so when you say elders, you just mean anybody who's of a certain age, right? It's not like a title.
It is of a certain age. For me, though, an elder, I have a different definition of an elder. To me, an elder is somebody who is positive, somebody who's willing to share their stories, someone who's willing to guide, our younger members, and to give good advice and just be there to support you. I think that's something that an elder to me
Yeah.
is a good definition of that.
Yeah.
Because we have other elders who are not so happy and pleasant, and
Just because you are elderly doesn't make you
that
an
doesn't
elder.
give you that status. I mean, for me to be an elder those are the qualities that I look for in an elder, and
Yeah.
and you can know that. I mean, even you as seniors, there's the difference between a grumpy senior and a senior
Yes.
who's just kind-hearted and wanting to see you succeed and giving you all the information they have
Yeah.
to be a better you.
Yeah. A little bit more, gosh, I know I'm just quizzing you on history,
no,
but it's so
fine.
interesting to me. So do you know, has much been preserved about the original Paskenta band of Nomlaki Indians in terms of how they lived back in the day, right? Were they nomadic at all? Like during wildfire season, was it like pick up and move? How do we deal with drought? Were they hunters? What do you know about how people used to live?
Well, we were hunter-gatherers. That was what we did. We relied on the salmon from the Sacramento River as, food that we used. We hunted animals, different animals, squirrels, rabbits, deer, throughout the hillsides. And then we migrated as well during, different times of the year. Would come down. And then we also had relationships with neighboring tribes. So we would also do trade with different tribes in the area. A lot of our older items that we have that are tribal are some of the abalone shells that we get from the Mendocino County from tribes on the coast. So we use different tribal trading. We have a lot of arrowheads that we used for tools for cutting, for skinning animals to hunting. And that's just the kind of people we were. We're nomadic, like you said, a little bit. But Nomlaki means West Speaker. So that was because we were the west part of the valley there.
Yeah.
So that was what Nomlaki means.
Okay. So right now you're talking about how, how long have you been tribal chairman? A couple?
2 years.
2 years, yeah, a couple
now.
years, and it's a 4-year term essentially, and you were elected.
Yes.
And anybody who is part of the tribe gets to take part in the election process, or, I mean, you have to be in the state? How does that work?
Yeah, no, anybody 18 is allowed to put their name in the hat and,
Okay.
come on aboard and, give their ideas and their input on what they have, their leadership, and how they would like to lead the tribe. So, every 2 years we have a staggered election. So that way it isn't one group at a time that gets elected in. So we have that as a form of our election.
Sure.
We also have a constitution that we go by, which has our voting, has our rights, our Bill of Rights at the end of the Constitution, and it's similar to the United States Constitution.
So interesting because it's this piece of land and these people, right? And they're within the United States, but it's not the United States. You're your own sovereign tribe.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's a very unique. We're a government inside of a government inside of a government.
Yeah.
Because there's a part of the United States, and then there's the state of California, and then there's our tribe, which is a federally recognized tribe.
Right. So do you get to set your own rules within your constitution, even if it doesn't match, like say California's or the U.S.?
We can, but it goes towards our membership. Our
Okay.
membership ultimately will decide those rules. But we
Right.
like to follow the Constitution.
Sure.
We like to follow, be fair and equal. We don't want to create something that's going to be, unfavorable or
Right.
out of line. So we make sure that we're fair and equal to all members and
Okay.
take care of their needs. And again, we have a Bill of Rights in there that protects our members from, any kind of just protections that we have.
So a lot of it probably aligns with what the rules are within the United States, right? Are there any certain interesting rules that are just quite a bit different that might surprise people?
That's a good question. I would say that, I was going to say the alcohol, because there isn't because we have an alcohol license, it's 2 a.m.
Okay.
But if we were to have our own license, it would possibly be whenever we would sell
Right.
it. But in order to get those licenses with alcohol, we comply with the state law.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah.
that would be something that we could tap into that would be different. I would say state law, or state taxes is something that does not apply to our land.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So our fuel tax, our food tax, our tobacco tax, that doesn't apply on our federal land. So those are some of the technical advantages, I guess you could say, that the tribe has
Yeah.
over the state.
And have you been following the wolf concern issue, like the issue with ranchers and wolves? Is that something you've seen on your territory at all? And you wouldn't be exempt from the rules around like an endangered species like the gray wolf, would you?
No, federal laws do apply to us.
Okay.
We're not a free-for-all. We still
Gotcha.
have to apply. Federal laws do apply to us.
Yeah.
And with the wolf situation, it hasn't affected our tribe because our land over there is just inside of the valley.
Yeah.
So we're not, we haven't had any kind of wolf issues.
Yeah.
So for us.
But do you get consulted in things like that? Or, do you have a seat at the table when we have these conversations about something that affects, all across the state?
Yeah, no, we do. We do get consultations that we do have with Fish and Game, Wildlife, CAL FIRE, different local agencies and different state agencies. They'll contact us and let us know so they can consult. And we do get input on that. Sometimes we don't get any feedback,
Right.
but the results that we wish for. But, our voice is always there, and we're always, out there to make sure that we're being advocates for them.
Yeah. Okay. And are you at the point you mentioned, working with CAL FIRE and getting that sort of support? Do you have a tribal fire department, tribal police, law enforcement of any sort?
We do not at the moment, but that's something that we could possibly start working towards. We are working on a burn plan right now for cultural burns.
Yeah.
We actually hosted a cultural burn. Well, we didn't host, but we were co-hosting a cultural burn in Red Bluff, California.
Okay.
So they did about 30 acres of land that they burned, and they set aside about 5 acres for us to burn.
Okay.
So we have a cultural burn person that we have that is on our tribe. His name is Juan Ragoza. He has many, many years. They're 40 to 50 years of fire experience. So
Yeah.
perfect guy for the job. But the real, I say, thing that I would be thankful for is with the Cal Fire and Forest Service is that they were able to go out, and we have tribal plants and medicine that we have in that area. And so for us to be able to communicate with them, like I was talking about the consultation, they invited us out and said, here's the area where we're going to be burning. Is there any plants or medicines that you guys have? And we were like, oh, yes. So we were able to mark off different areas and plants and, medicines that we have, so that way it's protected. But making sure that the area was burned, but then being able to preserve those plants and animals that we have in that area. So that was really neat to do. After it was done, we were able to see the results, and it was just great. So now those plants will still be there. We can still go and gather them, and we can also just see the results of the area being burned and taken care of.
What are some of the plants in our region that have like medicinal properties or just spiritual significance?
I would say one is, we call it hold'em, that we have. And that is, in my tribe, actually, they call it bear root.
Okay.
And so it's angelica root. It has a distinct smell to it. And when you smell it, it's just a smell that you have. I mean, there's sage as well, but I like the angelica root. It's probably one of my favorites. And it's something that we have to gather up on the hill. But yeah, that's something that we use. It also helps with an upset stomach. It helps when you have the smell to you. You give it as an offering to other members when they have time, when you're going to go into a difficult conversation or a difficult situation. You keep it with you, and it gives you strength.
Okay, I love that. Are there? I know that there are health services provided, right, through the tribe to its members. Is it largely Western medicine, or is there like an integrated, some of the traditional medicines and like methods of healing?
Most of it is Western medicine right now, but we are in the works of trying to integrate some of our cultural healing, because some of our tribal people, not just our members, but other tribal members, are asking for some spiritual healing or cultural healing that may help them out. There's Western medicine that we use and we rely on, which is great, but there's also the cultural medicines and practices that they have that also would be beneficial to them, and that we want to continue to practice.
I think that that's something that kind of transcends all like different cultures, and like there's really something to that, right? It's great to have these drugs and antibiotics and these things that in an acute situation can save a life, but I think that sometimes healing is so much deeper than that, and so it's good to kind of blend and and seek all the different options.
No, it is.
Yeah.
My great grandfather was Andrew Freeman. He was one of the last. He was one of the last medicine men, very famous medicine man here in the Northern California area. He actually has a book with different people he doctored, and they could be native or non-native. And actually, one of the chairmen from Grindstone actually was telling me that his dad's name was in that book.
Oh, really?
Because he looked at the book and he's like, "Did you know your great grandpa doctored my my grandpa?" And I said, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah, his name is right there." I said, wow, that's neat, to see that those connections there and that type of healing was offered back then.
Yeah, no, I love that. So before we had talked about how you were elected 2 years ago, you have another 2 years on your term. What were some of the big things that you set out to accomplish, and what have you gotten done so far that you feel proud of?
I would say one of the biggest things that I feel really proud of is just maintaining the momentum that we have, continuing with our education, continuing with our business enterprises, and making sure that they're going. Our gas station's been doing amazing with our gas staff, been breaking records there. Our clinic has broken records, as well as many patients being seen. Our casino is still being maintained and doing well. So I think really just taking the reins, because you had people who were doubting the leadership and saying, things will go bad, but the proof is in the pudding. You could see that, things are not going as bad, and they're still continuing to go. And we have a lot more opportunities in the future that we can take advantage of to make sure that our tribe is successful for all the members.
Yeah. The microgrid, that's pretty new, right? Tell me about that, and who is it going to help or serve, or what is that electricity all going toward?
Yeah, so the microgrid's going to help us be more energy self-efficient, so we're not relying on the major grid. So we could, what will help is take away from some of the strain off of the city and off of the state.
Yeah.
So by us providing our own energy,
Right.
it will be energy sovereign. So we will be able to maintain our own energy.
No PG&E?
No PG&E bill. But we'll be able to also, with the technology that we have, store that energy into batteries. So that way when the weather is bad or it's dark, we're still able to use that energy to different businesses that we have.
Yeah.
And you were talking about housing, so we could actually connect our housing into this electricity and have free energy going to these houses, and
Yeah.
it's renewable. We have our casino, we have our amphitheater, we have our gas station, we have our golf course, equestrian center. All those businesses can be run off of our new microgrid that we'll be providing.
So, you mentioned renewable. It's such an interesting dilemma, right, that we have in California, because it's like this push to get away from gas-powered vehicles, but it's like, well, where are the charging stations for the electric vehicles? Where are we going to get the energy? Is it going to be all solar? I know you have that great gas station. Are there like electric vehicle charging stations there, or will that come kind of with the development of the microgrid?
Yeah, no, that'll be in the works there,
Yeah.
is to be able to get those energy opportunities, I guess, for vehicles
Yeah.
and different, just different vehicles that they have out on the road. I know that there's Tesla stations that they have popping up.
Yeah.
We do have a couple electrical stops at our casino there. Technology is moving so fast that they're out of date right now.
Yeah.
But with that happening with this or microgrid, the opportunities there to create new ones, so that
Yeah.
way we have different options for different electrical vehicles throughout the state and keep people moving.
So I know that you have, speaking of technology, you have one or two singing robot servers, right, at one of the restaurants, which I love. It's so cool.
Yes.
Have you had conversations, though, about like more robotics, more AI, and being incorporated into any of your businesses?
Actually, we've been talking about AI. We've been trying to incorporate AI. At first, people were really leery about using it and how it's being used, but we're actually being encouraged to use it. So that way, mundane tasks during the day for the workforce is able to get things done faster and quicker,
Yeah.
without having to, have so much time spent on a certain, job task.
It's pretty incredible, huh?
Yes, and then our IT director, Robbie, he's just doing an amazing job at making sure that our tribe is protected and our clinics are protected. There's also some clinics that we've had that I've spoken to, because I deal with a lot of tribes in the state of California, and I talk with them. They were hit with cyber attacks. And so our IT director is just doing an amazing job, and his team protecting our tribe, not with just our tribal government, our clinics, our casino, because with AI also comes, better hackers as
Yeah.
well. So we have to be really leery and protect ourselves.
Yeah, somebody who was a hacker, an ethical hacker that we've had on the podcast recently, was saying that like AI can be trained to be a hacker. Like you can't do it on ChatGPT, but other countries have AI models that you could just tell them to go hack into a business and it'll do it. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a scary world, but
Oh yeah.
as we said also, it's pretty exciting what it could potentially offer in terms of just helping us get things done faster. So, yeah.
Yeah, we're using it to our advantage.
Yeah. So what comes next? What's in the works right now that you're most excited about?
I think right now we are just maintaining our current economic path, maintaining what we have right now.
Yeah.
Times are tough. I mean, everybody sees it with prices of food, with prices of gas, so it's kind of this storm that we have to weather at the moment. But I think our future is very bright with all the opportunities that we have, and future opportunities like the microgrid to take advantage of. I think we're in a really good place, and I think our next generation is going to be in good hands.
Yeah. Do you think you'll run again in 2 years?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I
Got
think so.
a lot to accomplish.
Yeah, I still have a lot of work to do, and there's things that I would like to see done, and it's going to take time. So I'd really like to see that ideas really flourish and bloom.
Yeah. My last question for you, and then I'll let you go. Just for people who they really don't know anything about your people and your culture and who you are all now, right? What do you think the biggest maybe misunderstanding is, or what do you really want people to know?
I would say one big misconception would be not all tribes are casino. Like, we're not just a casino.
Yeah.
For us, we're a tribe. We're a family. We're not a big corporation, a cold machine. We're a family. You know, every one of these revenue that we generate helps our family, and it also helps our community. You know, something that my grandpa was promised to the community, that if our tribe's going to do good, the community will do good as well. And each one of our past chairmen has followed that tradition, which I'm continuing myself today. And you know, I see myself, I mean, I see the community doing well. We had a cultural dance at one of the local schools. And so I asked the students, I said, how many of you know anybody who works at the casino? And a certain amount raised their hand. How many of you know anybody who works at the clinic? And another, and who the government? And by the time I was done, maybe 80 to 90% of the students at that school all had somebody they knew that worked for the tribe. And that was really touching to me, that, you know, we're not just helping our own tribal people, we're also helping the community. And so I'm very thankful for that.
Thank you so much for being here. It was so cool getting to know you and learning a little bit more about the Paskenta Band of Nomlaki Indians. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for listening today. I decided to offer this podcast after enough of you let me know that you wanted a deeper dive into certain stories than you get on our TV broadcasts. We elect certain people to represent our voice, but who are they really? My hope is that this podcast answers that question. I love your feedback, and I want to know who you'd like to hear from next. Just fill out that comment section and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or Spotify.